Tonight on CTV News, the 3 fishermen lost at sea have been named, with search efforts continuing. The Littleton Time Ball is one step closer to being rebuilt, and a Christchurch couple take out top honours for interior design.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to CTV News, now streaming live every night at ctv.co.nz. Well, police have released the names of the fishermen presumed drowned after their trawler sank on Sunday. They are 47-year-old Jared Husband, 35-year-old Paul Bennett and 55-year-old Terry Booth. The Royal New Zealand Navy are set to join the recovery mission. They're using a remote-operated vehicle to confirm the identity and location near to the last known position of the FV Jubilee.
What is it that you're hoping?
Using the Navy to firstly identify that the object located on the sea floor is in fact the fishing vessel Jubilee, and from there we'll be looking at using the ROV or remotely operated vessel to have get some identification of the vessel.
The Navy will be at the site by the end of the week. Well, construction of 4 inner-city navigation towers are underway, with the structures designed to help make life easier for locals and tourists to find their way around the central city. It's one of 4 navigation towers taking shape in the central city as part of the Christchurch City Council Transitional City Programme. The 8-metre high towers were designed to help both locals and tourists to find their way around central Christchurch. One of the signs already been completed on Cashel Street, with the start of concrete foundations going down outside the bus interchange.
Yeah, I think they're great because actually quite often I see on a daily basis tourists walking around struggling to find where they're going. Obviously there's not the landmarks that there used to be. A lot of buildings have been knocked down, and at the moment all they seem to have is those simple pamphlets.
Well, it's pretty hard to know what's actually going on anywhere at the moment, so if it's actually got places that are open that people can go to, I think it's a good idea.
I think a lot of people haven't even ventured back to the CBD, so anything they can get people to come back and have a poke around is good.
The towers were designed with businesses and tourism groups in mind to improve visitor experience in the city, and visitors we spoke to gave the colourful signs the tick of approval.
Anything that's you can set out as a thing on the map to get around the city, that's a good idea.
We've had 2 groups of tourists already this morning ask us where the Restart Mall is. No, they're a good idea.
We just need something to make it easier to get around the city, I believe.
Do you think this gets the tick of approval?
Yes.
Yes.
But some people didn't take any notice of the tower.
No, I've got a local here with me. So.
All 4 of the wayfinding towers are said to be up by the end of the week. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. Restoration of the Bridge of Remembrance is complete, but it's not yet open to the public. The $6.7 million restoration project has taken around 2.5 years to restore. No more than 10 people were able to work on the structure at any one time, and power tools were limited and heritage rules had to be followed. Sarah says further work is needed around the memorial, and the arch should be accessible by the end of the summer. The Category 1 heritage structure was erected in 1924 as a memorial to soldiers from World War I. Well, half a decade since the first big jolt, there's concerns around the number of people still stressed from the Christchurch quakes. Laura Twyman explains.
This was bad enough. But now, 5 years on, the quakes are still felt in a very real way.
The stress has been there and constantly there.
Wendy Robinson has been waiting for a rebuild for 5 years.
If I sit here and think about it too long, I will get angry, frustrated, those sort of things. So I basically don't think about it.
And it's not just her. The Christchurch Community Response Team are a group of volunteers connected through local churches. They've been outdoor knocking since the quakes and are finding stress levels are through the roof right across the city.
A lot of people are under a lot of stress. A lot of people are still waiting for their repairs to be done, or they've had their repairs done but they've not been fixed properly and don't know what to do.
They've just finished in the wider Belfast area reporting their findings to the local community board.
They found quite a few issues there, which was interesting to hear.
From the houses they visited, the response team need to follow up with 60 people, something they're concerned about.
People aren't aware of who they can contact to get help.
The community board back their mission of directing people to the right channels.
And so that's where we come in as well. We can give them people to talk to and to be able to help them to get it all sorted.
But the board are also encouraging Cantabrians to be optimistic. Look out for sites like this and see the hope in it.
I think you can look at the numbers in a positive light and not look at them in a negative light. And I think as a city, we need to start focusing on the positive.
Even those still caught in the nightmare of waiting find that can help.
Every time I go past a house that is being rebuilt or fixed, I say, thank you God, something's happening.
Laura Twyman, CTV News.
A major funding push is needed to see the iconic Littleton Time Ball station rebuilt, with Heritage New Zealand asking the community board to help with the shortfall. It was a Littleton landmark, standing for more than a century, until the jolt in June 2011 which brought it to its knees. But now, with over $2.5 million raised, the Time Ball station is close to rising again. Heritage New Zealand is preparing the last major funding campaign to bring the country's only time ball back to its original home.
And we wish them well, and we will support them as far as we can. I mean, you know, with what money we do have available and with letters of support and things like that. And I know that the Littleton people, who are always generous, will stump up with some cash, I'm sure.
Built in 1876, the station provided ships at the harbour with a timekeeping service, but it suffered severe damage at both the 2010 and 2011 earthquakes. With the historic building collapsing in on itself, only some could be saved. However, for the last 2 years, efforts have been underway to bring the Time Ball station back, nearly close to $3.5 million to rebuild. The local community board could expect a call for help to support the rebuild.
We have a certain allocation. It's like 30 or 40,000 each year for strengthening communities funding for community groups in our part of Christchurch City, and we also have a little bit of additional discretionary funding. I'm sure we'd be happy to give some of that, but you know, it would only be of an order of a couple of thousand probably that the community board could contribute.
Funding is 2/3 of the way through. Now $800,000 is what's needed to bring the Time Ball back.
You know, it was greatly missed after it came down after the earthquake, and it still is. You know, it's visible from all around the harbour, from all the communities around the harbour, and it was a real landmark. Of course, people supported it, but you know, to what extent they can contribute financially, that remains to be seen.
Heritage New Zealand wouldn't comment on what the campaign would entail, but says locals will know by early next week. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. Well, still to come here on CTV News, a local couple take out a top interior design award. Welcome back to CTV News. A surprise win for a Christchurch couple who took out a prestigious interior design award, completing some of the work themselves. It's an award winner, with this cashmere kitchen taking out a nationwide design competition.
Surprised, pleased. Pretty excited.
The couple took the award of New Zealand Home and Garden Interior of the Year for creative space for their timber kitchen. Shocked that they won overall.
There's always a hope there, but then when we saw the other entrance, we started thinking, oh, there's no way we're going to get this.
The standard of the entries we felt really high, so it was nice to think that we were up there with some of the other entrants.
Jane sent away some snaps of their kitchen, not thinking too much about the outcome. Then,
when they phoned up to say that we were a finalist, that felt like winning to us. That was enough to have got that far.
And then they were on a plane to Auckland for the awards ceremony. The house is nearly complete. Construction started back in April last year.
We like the idea of the natural materials and the timber. I suppose we had in our mind tramping huts and alpine huts in terms of the materials, the plywood.
Above the kitchen is a storage space, but it'll become something quite unique.
It's got a low ceiling. It's a cosy little space that the kids could use once we get the access sorted out. And,
or a spare room if people come and stay with us, or any of those sorts of flexible things.
Some of the work has been completed by Jane and Hamish, with contractors coming in to finish the rest. There's still a few finishing touches to be done, but for now they're just happy to be recognised for their achievements. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. A council proposal to gift a $5 million piece of land for a new house museum has attracted strong public support. Consultation over the proposal started last month and the feedback has been positive, with 125 of the 137 submissions in favour of the gift. Last month, the plans were unveiled for the Ravenscar Trust House Museum to be located across the road from the Canterbury Museum. Well, new research has found a majority of New Zealanders want to stick with the current flag. The UMR poll asked 1,000 people to rank the flags chosen for the referendum, including late-runner flag Red Peak. The most popular of the new designs is the red blue fern with stars, which scored 36% support. The Red Peak flag was third, and 64% of people want to stick with what we've got. So, what do Canterburyans think?
The UMR poll has found that 64% of New Zealanders would like to keep the current flag rather than the most popular alternatives that are put up. So what do you think of that? Does that come as any surprise to you?
It hasn't actually, no. I'm actually Welsh, born in Wales, but been raised in New Zealand from the age of 6, and I see no reason to change the flag. We're still under the English monarchy. No reason to change it. 64%, I think I thought it would have been a lot higher, but 64% just shows that that's what the population are thinking.
I prefer we don't have to change a flag. Personally, I don't feel we need to change. I think people are quite happy with the flag we've got, 90% of them, and I've always been brought up with that flag, and to me it's my life. It will always be my life.
It's not the alternatives, very cool.
Right, and what flag would you like to have?
The Tino Rangitirotanga. I think it's a cool flag, regardless of all the issues around it. I think if you look at a flag that you think is cool, like the Canadian flag or the South African flag, then that would be my pick.
The Tino, sorry, that's the Maori flag, is it?
Yeah, the black and red and white.
I don't think there's any need to change it, and I don't like any of the new ones. None of the new ones do it for me. So.
You'd like to keep the current flag?
Oh, definitely.
And why is that?
Well, I'm ex-military. The other flags are rubbish. They look like, what do you mean, somebody's logo.
You can't just get some random to make a flag and that represents all of our history.
So you would like to keep the current flag yourself?
Yep.
And why is that?
It's like everything we went to war for and everything we're built on, that's what that flag represents. You can't just change it. Unless we change the country too.
That's part of New Zealand. It's what makes us, going back to the Anzacs, to the war, what we've done, the Queen, everything that's, made us New Zealand. That's brought us together.
I take it you'd like to keep the current flag yourself?
I'd love to keep the current flag yourself. I'd have no qualms in keeping the current one.
Well, now we cross to the newsroom with what's happening in your neighbourhood.
Thanks, Jared. I'm Bridget Rutherford. Southbridge school pupils might not be able to be with one of their most famous former pupils at the weekend, but Dan Carter will have a reminder of them. Pupils formed a giant silver fern, were photographed and then handed it to Carter's father, Neville. Mr Carter left for England soon after for this weekend's World Cup semi-final showdown against South Africa at Twickenham. He assured the school he would pass the photo on to the famous All Blacks number 10. But not so good news for other Selwyn residents. They'll soon find themselves paying a little more for everything from swimming lessons to library borrowing fees. Fees for using services at the Lincoln Events Centre, Selwyn Aquatic Centre, Rolleston Community Centre and all 4 of the District Council libraries will increase from the 1st of January. The biggest increases will be looking for booking space at the Lincoln Events Centre, where the public will find themselves paying between $1 to $12 more per hour, depending on the time and which part of the building they wish to use. Full-day bookings of the event centre will increase from the current $1,600 for all users to $1,900 for residents, $2,200 for District Council and community groups, and $2,500 for corporate users. The District Council says the increases are due to rising costs such as electricity, staff, pool chemicals and maintenance. Bexley Reserve has gone to the Dogs. Well, not quite. The reserve will in fact become a park for man's best friend, a dog park. The City Council expects the new dog park to be ready for autumn next year. The QE2 Sports House will be demolished. The Burwood Pegasus Community Board decided to approve the demolition of the sports house at a cost of nearly $136,000. Board members also opted to get rid of the badly damaged changing rooms at an expected cost of $500,000. That money will be put aside from the City Council Facilities Rebuild Program budget to build 2 changing rooms. The Hagley Ferrymead Community Board will decide tomorrow whether to grant a new lease to the Mount Pleasant War Memorial Community Centre. The centre is being rebuilt on McCormick's Bay Road after the previous one was demolished following the quakes. The board needs to surrender the current lease in order to grant a new 33-year one. The new centre is being built now and is hoped to be completed by April. And the best secondary school Kapahaka groups in wider Christchurch have been named. A combined group of Christchurch Boys High School, Hornby High School and Te Kura Kaupapa Māori o Te Whānau Tahi students won the secondary school's regional competition on Saturday. The Linwood College Kapahaka group came second overall. They were the best of 9 groups made up of students from 14 schools across Christchurch. Both groups will now go on to compete at the national competition next year held in Hastings. And in an effort to feel like real artists, Papanui High School students are holding an online art auction. The auction showcases some of the work done during the year that the students are willing to part with. Some students are only selling prints of their work, while others are willing to sell off the originals. All the money raised will be put into a fund for the senior art students to have a budget for future projects. Currently, Alice Cheersmith has the highest bid, with someone willing to pay $50 for her piece. The auction has 3 more days to run. From the newsroom, I'm Bridget Rutherford.
Thanks for that, Bridget. We're still to come here on CTV News, the latest in local sport and your region's weather forecast. Welcome back to CTV News. Well, Canterbury were back at training today ahead of this weekend's make-or-break provincial rugby final. Sports reporter Gordon Finlater caught up with the team at Rugby Park.
The Red and Blacks were in good spirits after accounting for Taranaki in sensational fashion last Saturday. Loosehead prop Daniel Leonard-Brown wasn't part of the Canterbury team that lost to Taranaki 3 weeks earlier due to injury. His return to the fold couldn't have come at a better time either, after Joe Moody got a late All Black call-up just over a week ago.
I saw that Woodcock went off probably a bit earlier than he was expected to. I asked Joe, I was like, something happened to Tony? And he's like, oh, nah, I don't think so. I think they probably just subbed him. And, then I saw Razor's name on my phone, and I was like, oh, yeah. And he's like, oh, yeah, Joe's off to the All Blacks, so straight in for a start. And I was pretty excited.
With Moody now on All Blacks duty, the number 1 jersey has become a straight race between Leonard-Brown and longtime teammate Alex Hodgman.
Always on edge every training, and it's just this is a competitive environment, and we've been squaring up since about 3 years back now, right through academy to see who can sort of get ahead of each other.
The Christchurch Boys High product was happy to see his teammate get on the field for the ABs against France on Sunday. And now, after fighting for the same spot throughout the year, Moody and Leonard-Brown could both play pivotal roles this weekend on opposite sides of the globe.
Yeah, it's a win for us both, but someone's got to lose, and unfortunately it's Tony Woodcock that loses out. But I guess we're both looking to take our opportunities, and we've both got something to prove.
Joe Moody's provincial coach was also casting a watchful eye on Sunday morning, rapt to see his late call-up result in game time.
Yeah, it was great to see Joe with that offer. I'd done a bit of work earlier in the week with him, so it's good that he's taken that on board. On a serious note, I think just his professionalism and his ability to play in, a short turnaround is probably testament to the young man where he's come. He's really started to mature, and it shows.
For now, though, Alex Hodgman and Daniel Leonard-Brown will be the loosehead props under the close watch of Robertson at this week's training. And while Leonard-Brown won't be returning to Christchurch for Super Rugby, he'll be joining a few familiar faces at Highlanders camp later in the year, with Canterbury's second five, Rob Thompson, the latest to commit to the Dunedin-based franchise.
Yeah, we got a bit of a crew, when you go into a super environment, there's other dudes from different provinces, and there was, I think it was just me and Paddy last year, was it? Oh, and Nussie, so there was only three of us, and so there'll be the four of us next year, so we're slowly gathering up a bit of a pack, to come out the other boys.
Canterbury's team for Saturday night's final will be named later in the week. Gordon Findlater, CTV Sport.
Right, let's check out your region's weather forecast.
Kia ora Canterbury. Well, today plenty of sunshine out there again, with southerly winds turning northerly in the afternoon, quite strong for exposed places as well. Today's highs first though, 20 degrees for you Timaru, Temuka and Geraldine, and 21 for Waimate and Twizel. Central Canterbury, Christchurch on 17 degrees today, 20 there for Akaroa and Darfield and Methven, and 21 for you Leeston and Ashburton. Heading further north now, Kaikoura, a little bit cooler again for you, 16 was your high, 19 for Cheviot, 20 for Amberley and Rangiora, and 21 for Hanmer Springs, Culverden and Oxford. Over to the Alpine region now, Arthur's Pass, just 10 for you, 17 there for Lake Tekapo. Tomorrow we're seeing more northwesterly winds blasting on through, 22 degrees is your high Timaru, and 9 for your overnight low there, sunny skies with cloudy patches as well. Ashburton, you'll also be seeing some quite gusty winds, so watch out for those, particularly in the afternoon, 22 degrees though, a lovely warm high. Christchurch, get ready for another warm one. 23 is the expected high for you, 10 for that overnight low, and again sunshine with cloudy periods. And Kaikoura, a beautiful day midweek for you, 22 degrees for your high there, and 9 for your overnight low. The rest of the Canterbury region can also expect a very similar pattern. Cloudy skies for you guys, but lots of sunny spells, a little bit of drizzle there for Twizel on 20 degrees. Central Canterbury, you can also expect those quite strong winds. Northwesterlies for Akaroa, Leeston and Darfield. Methven, northerlies for you, and you're on 22 degrees there. Darfield and Leeston though, 23 is your expected high. Heading further north, northwesterlies again, lots of sunshine for you. Oxford on 23 degrees, 22 though for everyone apart from Culverden there on 20. And over to the Alpine region now, northwesterlies for Lake Tekapo, and 16 degrees is your high for Wednesday. Now taking a look at the upcoming days, we are seeing a bit of an unsettled day on Thursday. Southerlies coming through in the morning, and we should be seeing a bit of rain coming through with them. Could be quite heavy for some places as well. Flipping over to Friday though, looking dry and fine on Friday. 19 degrees for you Kaikoura with northeasterlies, light variable winds for everyone else, and 14 for Ashburton and Timaru. So on Thursday, as I mentioned before, that rain is going to actually start in the south and make its way further northwards. Should be starting about dawn around Timaru and making its way in the midday mark for North Canterbury. That rain should hopefully be clearing in the afternoon and evening though. On Friday, looking lovely and dry for most places, plenty of sunshine, the odd cloudy patch here and there, but light winds and a few northeasterlies as we head further north. So over the next few days, lots of sunny skies and warmth tomorrow. Thursday could be a little bit more unsettled, so look out for that rain early morning. For now though, that's your update for Tuesday.
Thanks for that, Mercy, and that is CTV News for Tuesday. You can find all our stories and bulletins on demand at ctv.co.nz. But for now, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jared McCulloch. Have a great evening.
supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.